Welcome to Yatim Khana and Madrasa, Anjuman Khairul Islam's Pune College of Art, Science and Commerce, Camp Pune 1. Myself, Dr. Arif Taboli, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Electronic Science. So, students, this is our second lecture of FY BSc Electronic Science. In this lecture, we will try to understand again the basics of semiconductor because if you know the basics of semiconductor, then it is very easy to understand the PN junction diode. So what is a PN junction diode? So introduction to PN junction diode is given in short somewhat like this. The PN junction diode is a very simple construction. A P-type material and N-type semiconductor material are attached together, but they are attached as a single crystal. That is more important. The terminal from P-type material is called as anode and terminal from P-type material is called as cathode. So we are going to study each and everything in detail, but this is just simple introduction about what is a PN junction diode. It is simple combination of P-type semiconductor material with N-type semiconductor material, and terminal taken from P-type semiconductor material is called as anode and terminal taken from N-type semiconductor material is called as cathode. So the place between the P-type and N-type material is called as depletion region or depletion layer, because in that place no charge carrier means what? Electron is a charge particle and charge carrier means carrier of electron. So in the depletion layer of the PN junction diode, no charge carrier exists. So this is a statement and we are going to prove this statement why inside the depletion layer no charge carrier exists. The PN junction diode allows the flow of current in only one direction, that is from anode to cathode. It does not passes the current in reverse direction other than leakage current. And due to this property of the PN junction diode, it is called as active component. So in electronic science, you might have been studied resistor, inductor, capacitor. These three are the passive components, but PN junction diode is active component, and the very important characteristics of an active component, that is a PN junction diode, it allows the flow of current in only one direction, that is from anode to cathode. Now here, with the help of diagram, we have shown you that this is the anode of the diode, this is the cathode of the diode, and this is the symbol of the PN junction diode. So when you connect anode to the positive of the battery and cathode to the negative of the battery, the diode allows to flow the current through it. The current I flows through the diode after zero point 0.7 volt for the silicon and after 0.3 volt of the germanium. So this again we are going to study in detail. So diagram number 1, diode is forward biased, current flows. And here you can see in this diagram now, anode is there, cathode is there, but anode of the diode is now connected to the negative of the battery and cathode of the diode is connected to the positive of the battery, and in this case current I will not flow through PN junction diode, and diode does not allows to flow the reverse current through it other than the leakage current. So diode is reverse bias, current does not flow. So this is a very simple representation. How does the diode allows to flow the current? When it is forward bias means anode is connected to positive of battery and cathode is connected to negative of battery, and this battery voltage when it is greater than the barrier potential voltage, that is called also called knee voltage, then only the diode passes the current through it, otherwise it does not passes. And in reverse bias condition, for any applied voltage, that is reverse voltage between anode and cathode, the diode does not allow to flow the current through it. Now, symbol of the diode is a triangle somewhat like this, and then is vertical line, and this is anode and this is cathode. And actual construction is what? P-type semiconductor material combined with N-type semiconductor material. And when you combine P-type semiconductor material with N-type semiconductor material, the formation of depletion region takes place, and that is what we are going to study. So the terminal taken out from P-type material is called anode, terminal taken from n-type material is called cathode, and this is what in the introduction we have studied what is p-n junction diode. So this is the actual construction with the help of p-type extrinsic semiconductor material and n-type extrinsic semiconductor material. But remember, this is a single crystal, that is more important. So it is a single crystal, then only the formation of depletion region will take place. And this is your symbol of the p-n junction diode. All of you are aware about that. Anode is this and cathode is this terminal. Now how does it looks? So actually in the laboratory the diode looks like this. So there is one terminal anode, another terminal cathode. There is a silver ring. The silver ring represents the cathode terminal, and here there is no any ring, it is a black portion maximum. This is a anode terminal, and it is a small version, and this is again the symbol of p-n junction diode. Now actually when you combine the p-type material with n-type material, actually when you combine a p-type material with n-type material as a single crystal at room temperature, the formation of depletion region takes place. The formation of depletion region takes place, that is also called as formation of barrier potential takes place. And this is very important part in the p-n junction diode, and because of this barrier potential only, the p-n junction diode starts conducting after zero point 0.7 volt in case of a silicon and after zero point 0.3 volt in case of a germanium. And because of this barrier potential only, the p-n junction diode does not conduct in reverse bias condition, because width of this barrier potential goes on increasing as reverse voltage is applied, and width of this barrier potential goes on decreasing as forward voltage is increased. So this is in just introduction for you. So you can observe this n-type material which consists large black hole, that is nothing but free electrons, and look at the p-type material. Here there are large number of holes are there. So in this way n-type material is having large number of free electron, p-type material is having large number of holes. So here this is just forward bias conditions, p-n junction diodes construction is shown. Now let us again revise in short very basics of the semiconductor. We know that n-type extrinsic semiconductor material, n-type extrinsic semiconductor material consists of large number of free electrons as shown below. So in the previous lecture also we studied, and here also in short we are going to do a study. So this is one phosphorus material which is a pentavalent impurity added into the silicon structure. So phosphorus pentavalent means 5 valence electrons are there. So this single atom of phosphorus will donate one free electron to this structure, because 4 electrons of the phosphorus are shared with 4 neighboring silicon atom and one excess electron is free. And that's why it is said one pentavalent impurity creates one free electron in n-type semiconductor material. And here we have taken the example for what 3 pentavalent impurities are added. One phosphorus here, second here and third here. So when you add 3 pentavalent impurity, 3 free electrons will be created, and accordingly it is called doping. If you add more number of impurities, then more number of free electrons will be created. Now again let us revise the properties of n-type semiconductor material. In n-type semiconductor material, electrons are majority charge carriers. In n-type semiconductor material, electrons are majority charge carriers, means flow of current is due to repulsive force between electrons. Means flow of current is due to repulsive means repulsion force between the electrons. Current flows. Current means what? I is equal to dq by dt. Q is the charge on electron. So current flows means flow of electron by the process of drift. And what is a drift? Drift is nothing but repulsive force between electrons. Electrons are negative charge particle. Two electrons repels each other. And when repulsion takes place, at that time electrons migrates from one location to another location, that is from negative to the positive of the battery. Number third, due to drift, an electron requires less time to travel and the resistance of n-type semiconductor material is less. So this also we have revised in the first lecture. Number of free electron depends on doping level of pentavalent impurity. Number of free electrons depends on doping level of pentavalent impurity. And you know doping, the lightly doped, moderately doped, heavily doped, very few number of pentavalent impurity. If you add, few electrons will be created, free electrons of course. If you add little bit large number of pentavalent impurity, large number of free electrons will be created. And if you add very large number of pentavalent impurity, then very large number of electrons will be created. So these are the four properties of n-type semiconductor material. We also know that in p-type extrinsic semiconductor material, which consists of what? Large number of holes. Large number of holes. And what is a hole? Hole is nothing but the vacancy of electron. Hole is nothing but vacancy of electron. So first of all, what we'll do it? We'll see the structure and then you'll understand. So here, these are the four silicon atoms and you add a trivalent impurity, for example, aluminium. A trivalent impurity is having tri means three valence electron, that's why trivalent. So in this way, aluminum atom will donate 3 electrons to 3 neighboring silicon atom. Aluminum atom will share, not donate, will share 3 electrons with the 3 silicon atoms. But there is no fourth electron to share with the fourth silicon atom, and that non-having of fourth electron to share with fourth silicon atom is called vacancy of electron, and that is nothing but hole. And in this way, very simple, one aluminum atom of trivalent impurity, if you add into the structure, one hole will be created. One hole will be created, and that is the vacancy of electron, because aluminum atom is a trivalent impurity. 3 valence electrons are there. So this aluminum impurity atom, when it is added into silicon structure, it shares its 3 electron. It shares its 3 electron with 3 neighboring silicon atom, and it doesn't have fourth electron to share with fourth silicon atom. Therefore, non-having of the fourth electron, it is not having a fourth electron to share with this fourth silicon atom, and that non-having of the electron is represented as a vacancy of electron, and that is nothing but hole. In this way, if you add 3 aluminum impurity, which is trivalent, you are in a position to create 3 holes. And in this way, it is like that. And therefore, the properties of p-type semiconductor material, see here. In p-type semiconductor material, holes are majority charge carriers. Holes are majority charge carriers. Charge carriers means charge is nothing but electron. Electron is a charged particle. That is, holes are carrier of electrons. That is, holes are carrier of electrons, and flow of current is due to recombination of hole and electron, or electron and hole. And that is, holes are carriers of electron, and flow of current is due to recombination of electron and hole. So in this way here, in p-type semiconductor material, majority charge carriers are the holes only. Current flows. Current means what? Current I is equal to dq by dt, that is rate of transfer of charge, and electron is only the charge particle. So current flows means electron flows by the process of diffusion. Diffusion means what? Electrons diffuse into hole. Electrons diffuse into hole because vacancy of electron is nothing but hole. So in this way here, whenever an electron gets attracted towards the p-type semiconductor material, first of all, that electron occupies the position into the vacancy, that is into hole. Due to diffusion, electron requires more time to travel from positive to the negative of the battery, conventional, and reality negative to the positive actual flow of current. And resistance of p-type semiconductor material is more, because electron first of all has to diffuse into hole and then come out. Therefore, it is said that p-type semiconductor material is having more resistance as compared to n-type semiconductor material. Number of holes depends on doping level of trivalent impurity. that is lightly, moderately, or heavily. And in this way now, this is the structure of what p-type semiconductor material in which holes are majority charge carriers, and you are creating one hole by adding one atom of trivalent impurity. One atom of trivalent impurity. Now, I will just divert the topic from semiconductor to the measurement of voltages, because in PN junction diode, in forward bias condition and in reverse bias condition, we are going to connect the voltmeter. We are going to connect the voltmeter across the PN junction diode. So you must have a little bit idea about measurement of voltage. That's why I am switching the topic from semiconductor to conductor to the measurement of voltage. Voltage is a derived term. Voltage, AGE. Voltage is a derived term from volt. We know that the amount of electric energy, we know that amount of electric energy required to move the charge of 1 coulomb, to move the charge of 1 coulomb through the resistance of 1 ohm is 1 volt. Through the resistance of 1 ohm is 1 volt. And this is the what definition of a volt. So in physics, normally what we say work done. So how much amount of work is done? So to work done means what? Work done means you will require some amount of energy. So if you want to move, suppose 100 kilogram weight, if you want to move, suppose 100 kilogram weight from one location to another location, but that one location and another location is having a little bit height difference, means from first floor to second floor, then 100 kilogram weight if you want to carry from first floor to second floor, there will be some amount of work done. And if the same 100 kilogram weight if you carry from first floor to third floor, then work done will be more, because you are going against gravity. You are going against gravity on third floor, and therefore that is nothing but in our electronics as a resistance, and 100 kilogram weight is nothing but our in electronics it is a charge of some coulomb, and coulomb is a very huge charge. So in electronics, instead of saying work done, or instead of saying how much amount of energy is required, we are using the term that is called volt. And volt is the electric unit for the measurement of electric energy. And volt is the unit for the measurement of electric energy. So how to define the volt? So volt is a very simple definition. To move the charge of 1 coulomb, to move the charge of 1 coulomb through the resistance of 1 ohm, that is very important. Through the resistance of 1 ohm, whatever amount of energy is required, means electric energy, of course, whatever amount of energy is required, that is electric energy, that is called 1 volt. The measurement of voltage is nothing but the measurement of potential difference between 2 points with the help of voltmeter as shown below. And this is a simple way. In practical, what we do, we connect two terminal of the voltmeter at two different location, and that is why we said, or we say, the measurement of voltage is nothing but the measurement of potential difference between 2 points, that is two terminals, with the help of voltmeter as shown below. So here I am going to just give you the idea about the voltmeter. If the voltage, if the voltage of DC voltage source, if the voltage of DC voltage source is to be measured, in that case multimeter must be set in DC voltage measurement. And here I have I'm showing you a DC or multimeter which can be used for the measurement of DC voltage, for the measurement of AC voltage, for the measurement of current, that is a low current, for the measurement of high current, for the measurement of resistance, for continuity test between the wire or two terminals. Here there is a direct current measurement. In this way, this multimeter which you are going to handle in electronics laboratory is used for multi means many, is used for many applications, and that applications are marked over here. So you can stop the slide and you can read the things very carefully. And here this is a common, means there is one probe, so common or ground, So black probe must be inserted over here, and there are two uh, locations on the right hand side and on the left hand side. 99% we use this right hand side location. See here MA means milliampere, V means volt, and ohm means resistance. So these three parameters are measured over here by connecting the red probe over here. So here you can see the red probe, and here only higher current greater than 10 ampere, when it is to be measured, this socket is used. So 99% we don't use this socket, we use this socket. So here you can use all current, AC current as well as DC current. Milliampere means AC current as well as DC current. Voltage means AC voltage as well as DC voltage. And resistance in ohm. Here you can see starting from this range, it is in the ohm region. And now I am going to just show you this probe which is used for the measurement of all parameters, voltage, AC or DC, resistance. So this red and this is black. So here this red one will be connected where? So this red is connected over here, red probe, and black will be connected over here, black probe. And you will have a two probe in your hand. One is red and another is the black. And now by setting this pointer, if this is pointer, this is here the pointer. This pointer, if I set into the voltage DC voltage, suppose here I set into 2 volt, or if I set into 200 volt, then I can measure the DC voltage on this screen. And in this way, this is the multimeter. And one more example of multimeter I am going to show you. So here, this is another multimeter. You can stop the slide. You can observe the readings, whatever it is shown over here. So this is a pointer which is to be set at different locations. So you can see here AC voltage measurement range, voltage and sine wave is here symbol. And you can see here DC voltage range, voltage and straight line is there, means DC voltage. Resistance which is measured in ohm in this range here, from ohm this here, this entire section. Then socket for testing of the transistor, this socket is for testing of transistor, collector, emitter, base, like that. This is a buzzer or diode continuity test, it is called. So here it is a buzzer and diode continuity test. And here there are three sockets. So this is a 10 ampere socket which we don't use normally. This is the common where the black is to be inserted. In the common there should be a black, and here holds, current, resistance, continuity, diode test. Here the red probe should be inserted here. Okay, so in this way here probe lead socket, all these three are the probe lead socket. And in the common there is a, see here, common, there is a ground, that is a black, and here there should be red. And in this way you can understand. Now here see that multimeter we have replaced by the symbol of voltmeter. Multimeter is replaced by the symbol of voltmeter, plus terminal and minus terminal. So red probe and black probe. Black probe is normally called as negative terminal pin, and red probe is called positive terminal pin. So red probe is connected to positive of the 10 volt battery. Black probe is connected to the negative of 10 volt battery. And in this way, when this 10 volt battery DC plus and minus, when this 10 volt battery DC plus and minus is available with you, and when you connect the voltmeter such that positive of the voltmeter to the positive of the battery and negative of voltmeter to the negative of battery, the measured voltage is 10 volt. But if you have the battery of 10 volt only, plus and minus, and if you connect the voltmeter in reverse direction, voltmeter in reverse direction, such that negative of voltmeter to the positive of battery and positive of voltmeter to the negative of battery and positive of voltmeter to the negative of battery, the measured voltage will be minus 10 volt. And this is the way with which we measure the voltage of DC voltage source by using voltmeter. By using voltmeter, and this voltmeter is nothing but your digital multimeter which you have converted into DC voltage measurement. And we are showing the symbol somewhat like this. Now, there is one important concept in electronics. As shown below, the voltage measured between two short circuit terminal is always zero. And this is very important parameter in electronics. As shown below, the voltage measured between two short circuit terminal is always 0. So if you take a battery of 10 volt, 20 volt, 100 volt, and if you short that battery with the help of a wire, so this blue is nothing but blue wire, and if you connect the voltmeter, if you connect the voltmeter, this is a voltmeter, positive of the voltmeter to the positive of battery, negative of the voltmeter to the negative of battery. Now the measured voltage by the voltmeter will be 0 volt because battery is short circuited. And this is the concept in electronic science. The measured voltage between two short circuit terminal is always 0. Now let us connect the battery plus and minus to the voltmeter such that minus of the voltmeter to the positive of battery and positive of the voltmeter to the negative of battery, and short circuit the battery. And what? Short circuit the battery with the help of a blue wire. Here it is shown in this diagram. Then measured voltage is also 0 volt. Doesn't matter the polarity, whatever it is there. So as shown in above diagram, the positive and negative terminal of battery is short circuited with blue wire. As shown in above diagram, the positive and negative terminal of battery, this is a positive terminal, this is negative terminal, are short circuited with the help of blue wire, and voltage between two short circuit terminal is always 0. So here one more concept now I am going to introduce you, that we know that open switch. Now I have taken switch, a simple switch. Here you can see S stands for switch, and it is having two terminals, terminal A and B. And this switch is also called as single pole single throw. Single pole single throw, SPST. So we know that open switch, single pole single throw, we have taken example, is having infinite resistance between two terminal, is having infinite resistance, because when the switch is open and when you connect the battery, no current will flow through open switch, and therefore it is said that if there is no current flowing through the open switch, means there is no conductor, means there is no conductor between two terminal, and therefore it is said that if there is no conductor, means conductivity is 0, and conductivity and resistivity are opposite to each other. So when conductivity is 0, resistivity is infinite. 1 divided by 0 equal to infinite. And in this way here, when you talk about open switch, that is single pole single throw, it is having infinite resistance between two terminal, and closed switch, of course, which switch, single pole single throw, is having zero resistance, that is 0 ohm resistance between two terminal as shown below. And see here, when you take a switch yes, and when you keep this open, terminal A of the switch, terminal B, RAB means resistance between terminal A and terminal B equal to infinity here. And when you close the same switch, when you close the same switch, switch S is now closed, terminal A and B are now connected to each other. Terminal A and B are now connected to each other, and RAB equal to 0 ohm. RAB equal to 0 ohm. Therefore, you always remember that when a single pole single throw switch is closed, at that time the switch behaves as short circuit device. Switch behaves as short circuit device, and resistance between two terminals which are short circuited is always 0 ohm. And therefore here RAB is equal to 0 when the switch is closed, and when the switch is open, RAB equal to maximum means infinity. Maximum means infinity. Now, when you talk about the same switches, whether it is horizontal or vertical, there is no change in the behavior. If you take the switch yes, and if you hold it vertical and if it is open, RAB equal to infinity. When you take the same switch yes vertical, and when you close the switch here, S is closed, RAB means resistance between terminal A and B is now 0 ohm, because terminal A and terminal B are short circuited through closed switch. And this is very simple thing. And now what we'll do it here, we'll take again the battery of 10 volts, such that plus terminal and minus terminal, we will connect the voltmeter. This is the symbol of voltmeter. V stands for voltage, and circle plus and minus. We'll connect the voltmeters positive to the positive of the battery. We'll connect voltmeters negative to the negative of battery, and in between voltmeter, in between this voltmeter and battery, we will connect the switch yes. We'll connect the switch S, which is open terminal, which is open switch. Now, voltmeter and switch and battery, all three are in parallel to each other. Voltmeter, this voltmeter, switch S, and battery all are in parallel to each other. So in the earlier case, we have simply studied what the measurement of voltage. When we have taken the voltmeter and directly connected to the battery, this voltmeter showing 10 volt because positive of voltmeter to positive of battery, negative of voltmeter to negative of battery. And when the same voltmeter is connected in reverse direction to the battery, reverse direction means what? Means negative of voltmeter to positive of battery and positive of voltmeter to negative, it is showing minus 10. Here voltmeter is connected across the battery or in parallel to the battery. Here also the voltmeter is connected across the battery or in parallel to the battery. And now here there is no switch. And here now, after studying the switch, single pole, single throw, we are connecting the switch yes. We are connecting the switch yes in between voltmeter and our battery, and therefore voltmeter and switch and battery all are in parallel. Now what will happen? When the switch yes is open, this switch yes will not short circuit the battery positive and negative because it is open. This switch yes, which is open, it will not short circuit the positive and negative of the battery. Therefore, because it is open, therefore voltage measured will be how much volt? 10 volt. Voltage measured will be 10 volt. And see here, as shown in above, the open switch yes will not short circuit the battery. As shown above, the open switch yes will not short circuit the battery, and measured voltage by voltmeter is 10 volt because voltmeter's positive is also connected to positive of battery and voltmeter's negative is also connected to negative of battery. Switch is open, that's why it is not going to short circuit the battery, and measured voltage is 10 volt. Now here only imagine, suppose if I close the switch, then what will happen? If I close the switch, you can imagine that the closed switch is always having resistance between terminal A and B as a zero, and therefore you can say that the closed switch will short circuit the positive and negative of the battery, and all of you know the voltage between two terminals which are short circuited is always zero, and that is what we are going to study now. See here, the battery is there, the voltmeter is there, and the switch is there, all are in parallel to each other, but now switch S is closed, and therefore here see, measured voltage by the voltmeter is now 0 volt. Why it is now 0 volt? See here, as shown above, the closed switch yes will will short circuit the battery. Short circuit the battery means positive terminal of the battery will get connected to the negative of the battery because switch is closed, means this switch is short circuiting the battery, and measured voltage by voltmeter is 0 volt because voltage between two terminals which are short circuited is always 0 volt. So this diagram is very much similar to the earlier diagram which we have studied, but in earlier diagram we have short circuited the battery with the help of wire, and that wire was our blue color wire. Now we are short circuiting the battery with the help of a closed switch. So again I will just show you that blue color wire. See here, this battery is now short circuited with the blue color wire, and here again the battery is short circuited with the help of a blue color wire. Now this wire we have removed and we have connected a switch and we have closed that switch, and therefore through the switch positive and negative of the battery are short circuited. Therefore voltage between two short circuit terminals is always zero, and therefore here when you close the switch you will get 0 volt. And this is very important concept in electronic science, and therefore we said in the beginning that the measurement of voltage is nothing but potential difference measurement between two terminal. Measurement of voltage is nothing but potential difference measurement between two terminal. Now these two terminals are short circuited, therefore same potential is here and same potential is here, and therefore potential difference will be zero. Whatever potential is here, same potential will be here because these two terminals are electrically short circuited. These two terminals are electrically short circuited, Therefore, they will have same potential. And if you measure the potential difference between that two terminal, which is having same potential, the difference will come zero. And potential difference is nothing but the measurement of voltage. And that's why voltage is always zero between two short circuit terminals. Terminal A and terminal B are now short circuited. And in this way here, this battery is also short circuited. This battery is also short circuited. And in this way here now what we'll do, we'll talk about this 10-volt battery and switch. Yes, open. Now does current flows through open switch? Yes. Does current flows through this switch? Yes, which is open. So current will not flow through the open switch. Current I is equal to 0. So here see, as shown in above diagram, when switch S is open, at that time current will not flow through the switch. Current will not flow through the switch. Here current will also not flow through the voltmeter. Then some students they feel that if the current is not flowing through the switch, then does current flows through voltmeter? And because of that, voltmeter is measuring this as a 10 volt. So answer is what? Here the current will also not flow through voltmeter because internal resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinite. Internal resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinite. This voltmeter is performing the job of measurement of voltage. Remember, this voltmeter is performing the job of measurement of voltage. And what do you mean by measurement of voltage? Measurement of voltage is nothing but measurement of potential difference between two terminal. Measurement of potential difference between two terminal. So look at this diagram now here, voltmeter. Now suppose this voltmeter is internally short circuited. Suppose this voltmeter is internally short circuited, then what will happen, you know? This voltmeter, when you connect to the battery, this voltmeter, if it is internally short circuited, this voltmeter, when you connect to the battery, that voltmeter itself, that voltmeter itself will short circuit the positive of the battery and negative of battery because of its internal resistance is zero. And therefore, this voltmeter will never measure the accurate voltage, that is 10 volt. It will always show short circuit voltage as a 0 volt. And therefore, for ideal voltmeter, internal resistance must be as possible as high, and that is infinite. As possible as high, and that is infinite. And therefore here the current will neither flow through the switch, yes, because it is open, nor flow through the voltmeter because internal resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinite. And in practical voltmeter it is in mega ohms. It is in mega hundred of the mega ohm, hundreds of the mega ohm. And therefore it is said that no current will flow through the voltmeter, and current never flows through voltmeter, that you remember. Current never flows through voltmeter because internal resistance of voltmeter in hundreds of the mega ohm. And therefore only the voltmeter is performing the job of measurement of voltage, that is potential difference between 2 points. And here it is given the explanation. If voltmeter itself short circuits the battery, if voltmeter itself short circuits the battery by offering a low resistance, if this voltmeter itself short circuits the battery by offering low resistance between its two terminal, okay, between its two terminal, that is positive and negative, then it will never measure the voltage accurately and always show SHOW here, and always show it as a 0 volt, and always show it as a 0 volt. That is the very important parameter about the voltmeter, why the voltmeter must have internal resistance as possible as high. So that is the thing. Now we'll take the second example, that is we'll close the switch. And now what will happen when the switch is closed? The battery of 10 volt is here. The voltmeter is here. Now voltmeter will measure 0 volt. Why? Because it is measuring the voltage between terminal A and B, which is electrically short circuited. As shown in above diagram, when the switch S is closed, at that time the current will flow through the switch S. Now the current is flowing through the switch S. Here the measured voltage by voltmeter is 0 because 0 ohm resistance of closed switch, because 0 ohm resistance of closed switch will short circuit the battery, and this voltmeter is connected between short circuit terminal, and therefore measured voltage between short circuit terminal is 0, and therefore voltmeter will show as a 0. Voltmeter will show as a 0. Remember, current will never flow through voltmeter whether the switch is open or whether the switch is closed, because voltmeter's internal resistance is in 100 of the mega ohms. So in this way it is like that. And now this is the important part. Now when we talk about a battery, somewhat 10 volt, 20 volt, 12 volt, you can take any voltage connected to a open switch, yes, between terminal A and B, and voltmeter when it is connected such that positive of voltmeter to the positive of battery, negative of voltmeter to the negative of battery. Three parameters are very important. Current flowing between terminal A and B. Current flowing between terminal A and B. Current will not flow between terminal A and B, neither through switch yes nor through voltmeter B. Resistance between terminal A and B. Terminal A and terminal B. Resistance between terminal A and B is infinite. Why? Because switch is open. And voltage between terminal A and B. Voltmeter is connected such that positive of voltmeter to terminal A. Terminal A is going to positive of battery. Negative of voltmeter is to terminal B. Terminal B is going to negative of battery. Therefore, voltage measured between terminal A and B is the measurement of voltage of this battery, and that is 10 volt. Is the measurement of voltage of this battery, and that is 10 volt, and their three parameters are somewhat like this when switch is open. Now when we close the switch, these three parameters are going to change. When we close the switch, all these three parameters are going to change. You can stop the slide and you can watch it again, and you can understand yourself only. The current will neither flow through the switch yes because it is open, nor through voltmeter because voltmeter's internal resistance is very high. Ideally it is infinite, and therefore measured voltage will be 10 volt. Measured voltage is 10 volt because potential difference between A and B terminal will be maximum. Maximum means whatever you applied. Maximum means whatever you applied. If you apply 10 volt, it will be 10 volt. If you apply 12 volt, it will be 12 volt, and accordingly. Now let us come to here. Close the switch, yes. And now ask the question, now when you close the switch, yes, does current flows? Yes, current will flow through the closed switch, yes, because there is a battery plus and minus 10 volt. It is now short circuited through the closed switch, yes, and current flows. That is maximum current. That is maximum current flows, and measured voltage will be 0 volt because terminal A and B are now short circuited. So IAB is equal to maximum, RAB equal to 0. Resistance between terminal A and B of the switch yes is 0 ohm, and voltage between terminal A and B is 0 volt because A and B terminals are now electrically short circuited, and this battery is also short circuited, and therefore voltage between short circuit terminal is always 0, is always 0. And in this way here we'll conclude that in this case, when switch sometime open and sometimes switch is closed, means switch is having infinite resistance or zero resistance. So in this diagram, in above diagram, we cannot apply Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R, to calculate the current, because physical state of conductor, who is conductor? Conductor is your switch, sometime open, sometime closed. Because physical state of conductor is not constant, is not constant. Sometimes switch is open means infinite resistance, and sometimes switch is closed means zero resistance. And when the Ohm's law is applied, when Ohm's law is applied, if and only if the physical state of the conductor remains same, if and only if the physical state of the conductor remains same, and therefore here Ohm's law is not applicable. And in this way what we'll do today, we'll stop here only. Again we have completed all our of the basics of the semiconductor once again before proceeding to the PN junction diode, and I have introduced you the idea about the measurement of voltage, and this will help you in our next lecture of what PN junction diode. In PN junction diode at FY level, we have detailed study of formation of barrier potential, formation of depletion layer, formation of junction capacitor, And all this going to happen when you combine p-type material with n-type material as a single crystal. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next lecture.